Evan Mobley is the biggest prize in the 2021 NBA draft. Right. Then today we'll talk about a prospect, Evan Mobley from USC. Charks, you wrote an article breaking down his game for The Ringer today with the headline, Evan Mobley is the biggest prize in the 2021 NBA draft. Please introduce Mr. Mobley to the listeners.
Okay, so Evan Mobley is a freshman 7-footer at USC. He has been, number 1 or number 2 in his high school class, probably for like 3 or 4 years now. He's always kind of been seen as an elite prospect. He's gotten to USC. And I think the numbers aren't always there, but the way he plays, he just hits this intersection of things I just love in big men. Number 1, elite defense. He's an elite rim protector. And he can switch on guards like it's nothing. So he's like 7 foot 210, 215, pretty slim right now. But that gives him this really, really quick feet and long arms. So he can guard really well. And then he's also an incredible passer. Like, I just love when big men can pass and defend. And he's got one of the best combination of passing and defense I've seen from a 7-footer in a long time. And then he also, I think, has a pretty decent dribble drive game. Like, he definitely has to get tighter with his handle, but he can go from the 3-point line to the rim pretty consistently, just based on being 7 foot with that kind of burst. And when I look at a 7-footer with like handles, passing, and elite defense, I'm like, man, that's a special, special player. And I love watching Mobley. He's already my favorite player in this draft. I don't know if he's like the best for sure, but he's my favorite player, no question.
No, you said he's the best. Stick with it. Go ahead. You said
okay,
he's number
fair enough.
1.
I'll have number 1. Fair enough.
Don't hedge.
Do you have him number 1 over Cade Cunningham?
I think so for now. For now, yeah, but it's close. Cade's great too, but
and it's early on. I mean, the draft isn't for many, many months from now, so there's plenty of time to make a change. And with Mobley, you mentioned he's 7 feet. He's also 210 pounds. That is, he's got very thin legs. It's something that he needs to get stronger over time. But ultimately, you had a line in your article where you pretty much said, wrestling with bigs down low isn't as important as being able to switch and be fluid on the perimeter. And I'm with you there. Like, to me, Kyle, Mobley, everything we talked about with Wiseman and Bagley earlier today with some of their struggles or some of the concerns about them, Mobley checks those boxes already. When it comes to feel and passing, it doesn't pop up in the assist turnover ratio, but that dude can pass it and make quick decisions on the floor. Good at reading the floor on defense and rotating and switching onto guards and wings. There's a lot to like there, man. And it wouldn't shock me if you're ahead of the curve here, Charks, when it comes to saying that there's a chance he goes number 1. There's a chance. Maybe not, but
I've talked to a few NBA folks who agreed with me. I mean, it's out there. It's bubbling. It's a little bubble right now, but it's out there.
We need diversity of thought. It's good. I think that the Cade thing, as much as I love Cade, has been a little overwhelming. And you know what? Draft people, draft Twitter, I love you to death. But we do have a tendency to shame people and get a little group thinky. So this is good. I like throwing the stone in there and like throwing this out there because you're right. When you start listing all the different things and you start just kind of looking at that like chart of his skills reaching into these areas, he's ahead of Bagley and Wiseman and those guys in his versatility. And something that I really like that you don't see a ton from guys his size. You talked about him getting from the 3-point line to the rim. His north-south balance with the ball, like when he gets to the rim, he has good enough coordination and balance to just like outlast people. That's something you see him do a lot once he gets there. I mean, like he can finish over the top,
and he also has both hands.
Yeah,
he can use left or right hand, which that's something like Bagley doesn't have.
On either end of the floor too, when it comes to finishing or blocking shots. I mean, he is so quick titch and has such good hand-eye coordination when it comes to the way he uses his limbs on the defensive end of the floor. He's impressive, man. I mean, there's a lot to like. I know one of the knocks on him in high school was, toughness. And I haven't really seen that pop up too much at USC.
And to be fair, the other thing with like toughness, I think people will criticize Mobley, and rightly to some level. There was a game, I think it was against like Santa Clara, where he had like 2 shots because he just plays in the flow constantly. Mobley's a guy, if he's double the ball's moving, he's not going to force his shot. And it's like, well, you are 7 feet tall against a bunch of like mid-major guys. Like you can force your shot sometimes. And that's something we'll have to work on because he's a high feel guy, but almost too far an extent where he just feels the game so much he never looks for a shot.
There's value in having guys with that mindset, though, I think. Guys who are willing to pass, willing to be in the flow, willing to defer, because you don't necessarily want 5 guys on the floor all at once who all want the ball in their hands at all times. That's what made, this is like an extreme example here, but that's what makes the Golden State Warriors work with Steph and Clay and Draymond, and when they had KD. Clay is the guy on that team who is like, you know what? I'm going to get my touches within the flow of the offense. Some nights I'm going to get 25 plus shots. Some nights I might only get 10 or 11. It's all about what it takes to win. And with Mobley, obviously different type of player, different position, but I don't mind having a guy with that mindset. To me, that's a good thing, especially in today's league. I don't always want my big to be a guy who thinks that they are going to be taking 20 shots per game. You have to be very, very special as a big man in today's league with how inefficient the post is for most players, besides Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, to do that. You need to really be rare to enter that level as a go-to option. I look at that as a plus, personally, when I assess Mobley's game, because he can do it when he needs to.